Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Women Making Big Sales. So, how has your work week been? Has it been good? Guess what? Last week I went camping. It was great to spend some time with my boys and family. It's always good to go outside in the nature. It's good for our soul and our health, physical health. So, a bit of self love is always important for entrepreneurs. So, I encourage you to go outside and spend some time to take good care of yourself. I've really benefited greatly from last week's camping trip. Really enjoyed it. I had so much fun. All right, for today's episode, I want to talk about a sales strategy that has worked out really well for me, and I want to share with you guys. And also, this particular sales strategy, whenever I ask an entrepreneur how they get the best strategy to how they get their biggest sales or some kind of sales stories and lesson learned from their sales story, this particular sales strategy tend to be the one that people would mention, and that also shows that this is such a powerful sales strategy, especially when you want to land more business clients. And that's why I want to take this opportunity to share with you this, the power of this particular sales strategy, and also how to implement it, how to prepare your business so that you can benefit from this particular strategy. So I've got lots to talk about and can't wait to share with you all the stuff, the details, the tactics of this particular strategy. Keep listening. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast because we are the podcast to help you land more business clients. So make sure to subscribe to the podcast and also leave a review if you like it. If you find the content of this podcast has been helpful for you, make sure to leave a review. I always love to hear your feedback. All right, so this particular sales strategy, here's what I noticed. I've sold in a lot of industries around the world, and whenever I start selling in a brand new industry, here's usually what would happen. First of all, I would start with basically zero network. Most of the people within that particular industry, I would not have any connections with, which is normal. So I would have to start doing that research, the initial research, and try to figure out who I should reach. And then afterwards, I would have to reach out to people, and it would be considered cold reach. That means that we don't have previous relationship. We reached out, but there wasn't any previous relationship with people, and I would start building relationships from scratch. But after being within the industry for a while, here's what I started to notice, some amazing thing that would happen. I would start to notice that people would start talking about me and my service. And after being in the industry for a while, I would actually have people writing to me to inquire about my service. Do you know how powerful that is? That means that I don't have to go out and reach out to people. I don't have to spend lots of time on social media. And people actually come to me to ask about my service because people start talking about me and I start getting leads of prospective clients through word of mouth. Yes, today's episode, I am going to be talking about word of mouth. It is the most powerful strategy, especially when you want to sell into businesses. And I talk about business to business sales, B2B sales. B2B sales is still the most powerful, word of mouth is still the most powerful sales strategy when it comes to landing business clients. In fact, research shows that about 50% of all purchases are influenced by word of mouth. But in B2B sales, so selling to businesses, 91% of every sale is influenced by word of mouth in some way, which makes sense if you really think about it. Oftentimes, when you sell to business clients, your sales value might be higher. So oftentimes, we're talking about 5-figure or 6-figure sales. And the relationship to working with business clients tend to be longer. So if you have a project to implement, sometimes it could take 2, 3, 4, 5 months or even longer to complete the project. And you tend to have a lot of repeat businesses from one particular client. So when a business client need to find a good partner to work with, they want to ask around. They don't just Google, but they really focus on word of mouth, and they want to ask people they know and ask for a reference. And that is the reason, especially when it comes to B2B sales, which means selling to businesses, word of mouth is such an important strategy. And this also applied to a lot of entrepreneurs I speak with. When I asked them, hey, how did you get that sale? A lot of them would tell me, well, it seemed random. It was so and so, somebody I knew, and they were talking to one person, and that particular person was looking for something, had a need that I could solve. And then my friend just told them to reach out to me, and they said they really enjoyed. They would, recommend me, and I would set up a call with this particular person, and boom, I would be closing sales. But oftentimes, when I speak with entrepreneurs, that is the kind of response I would get when they talk about word of mouth. Has it ever happened to you? I mean, if you think back to the sales deal you had, have you ever had one that just seemed really easy, and you seem to be able to close quickly, and you might be even telling yourself, "Oh, I just got lucky." But here is the thing: a lot of people think that word of mouth. First of all, it seems so easy that you must have just gotten lucky. And that is definitely a misconception a lot of people have about word of mouth. Word of mouth, the reason why it's such a powerful strategy is that the kind of leads you get are of very good quality. When you get the kind of leads from word of mouth, first of all, most likely these people, they have a need, a challenge that you can solve. And that's a reason why they're asking around. So they're already qualified. And also the fact that, it was a recommendation from somebody else. It was a referral and recommendation. You already built that credibility and trust that often would take much longer to build. But the fact that it was a referral, people already trust that you can deliver the service. So you basically have this group of people that are ready to buy, and you've already built your trust and credibility. So once you put the two together, this specific sales strategies become super easy and powerful. And the sales cycle to closing sales just become much faster because they are ready to buy. And it's more a matter of just making sure that, you're really, you're providing the relevant information. And a lot of times, just about proposals and closing. And that's why it's such a powerful strategy. And it's a strategy that has really worked well for me. Even now that I've already built reputation within the industry I target, I start receiving emails from people that are requiring my service, requesting my service. And whenever I ask them, hey, how did you know me? A lot of times I say 80% of the time they got my information through word of mouth. So they would be doing that research themselves, and they would make the decision to reach out to me. So by the time they reached out to me, by the time we speak on the phone, they're ready to buy from me. And that is the reason why sales, word of mouth is still the most powerful sales strategy, especially when it comes to selling to business clients. But here is the thing. There's this huge misconception among entrepreneurs that word of mouth, it's just luck. I just got lucky. It was a random thing. And it's hard to control. It's almost like being an entrepreneur would think that things got to come really difficult. And since word of mouth seems so easy, it must not be a powerful strategy. If I want to get a lot of clients, I must have to work much harder. But it's not entirely true. I think that there's a specific strategy that needs to take place for you to increase your chances of word of mouth. Yes, if you don't cultivate your sales strategy, if you don't implement what I'm going to talk about, then you might have that random leads from word of mouth, one or two a year, and it might seem hard to control. But I really want to share with you some strategies that I've used consistently over the years that increases my leads from word of mouth and try to create more consistent leads through word of mouth. So I want to share with you and making sure that you will be able to use it for your business as well. Yeah, because we all want more leads, right? We all want more sales. So okay, so first of all, I want to share with you some really important key criteria when it comes to word of mouth. The tricky thing about word of mouth is that you are not selling your service. You're relying on somebody else to sell your service. Whoa, right? I mean, it's hard enough for us to sell our service. Now we're relying on somebody else to have to sell our service. So one first thing about the word of mouth is that it comes naturally. It's a very organic strategy. So for it to happen organically, one thing becomes really important, which is your reputation. I think as entrepreneurs, we often work a lot on our social media presence and LinkedIn profiles, content strategy. I don't think there's enough efforts put into your reputation within the industry. And I think when it comes to selling to business clients, your reputation might be even more powerful than social media strategy. Okay. If you're a marketer, you might be saying, no, that's not true. Okay. Let's just say both are important. Okay. So that we don't want to get into that debate. But your reputation is really important. I mean, you can think about yourself, the industry you're in. Have you ever encountered your competitor and the one that doesn't seem to have any much social media presence, or they don't post a lot on LinkedIn, and they probably don't even have a nice website, but for some reason they are getting clients, they are getting businesses. And that is because these people have been able to create a great reputation and they start getting leads through word of mouth. So if you ever encountered a competitor and for some reason you're wondering, how do they get their leads? They don't have any great social media presence and they don't have websites, but they seem to be working with some of the most important people because they've got the network and they've got the word of mouth. So we're basically trying to replicate that. And it's been a process that has worked really well for myself and for my own business. And I always try to make sure to implement this whatever I sell in new industry. So the first thing is you got to make sure that's the basic foundation is whenever you're in one industry, you have to build a strong reputation. Your reputation is almost like that social media presence. They're just as important. The reputation is what people talk about you, how people talk about you behind your back, right? So in order to build a strong reputation, you got to create amazing services with your existing clients. You got to wow your existing clients so that by the time they have to refer your clients, by the time they want to, they will be talking about your business. You want them to be passionate about your business. You want them to tell somebody else that, hey, you got to talk to Melinda. She's amazing. She's great. And you're going to achieve your goals as soon as you talk to Melinda. So that is what we want to do. It's the first thing to ensuring that you master your word of mouth strategy is making sure that you build a solid reputation. Always make sure to wow your clients. Customer service is foundation to building strong reputation and making sure that when you deal with your partners and people that are the insiders of within the industry you target, you're fair. And your network is your asset, right? So that's the first step. And the second step, I mentioned about the fact that, hey, in terms of word of mouth, you are relying on somebody else to sell for you. So you got to have a very clear positioning statement. That means that it's going to be a simple to understand positioning statement because people are going to be talking about you. And if you have a very complicated positioning statement, it's very hard for people to talk about you. So what do I mean by, a simple to understand positioning statement? Basically, you want to be the specialist of something so that people will be able to say, well, if you need this particular problem solved, you got to talk to Melinda. So women making big sales is a great example. I specialize in helping entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurs sell to corporate clients. So I'm the go-to person for entrepreneurs, for women entrepreneurs who want to land more corporate clients. I am the go-to person. So it's a simple, simple messaging. So when you think about your positioning statement, what do you want to be? What kind of go-to expert do you want to be? And the simpler it is, the easier for other people to talk about your service. And when they have a very clear understanding of what you do, then it becomes super easy for them to refer your clients and to talk about your service and to give you recommendations. So you have to have a simple to easy to understand and a very clear positioning statement. All right. And if you want to know more about positioning statement, make sure to check out my sales training. And I think there is some important, we'll be talking about how to create your clear positioning statement. Okay. That's definitely positioning statement is the step one, the most important thing when it comes to selling to business clients, because you want to give your business clients a clear and easy to understand reasons why they should be working with you. All right, so this is like the foundation. We build our foundation first, making sure that you have a strong reputation. And the second layer is making sure that you have a clear positioning statement. Okay. And then now you will start, the next step is start to find super connectors. And who are the super connectors? Super connectors are not necessarily your clients. It could be somebody who offer complementary services to your ideal clients. And a simple example is I used to be in the investment industry, and I would be providing financial investment strategy, investment advice to entrepreneurs, mid-sized entrepreneurs. So my super connectors, the people that also offer complementary services to my ideal clients, are the accountants and also tax lawyers or even lawyers, because these people, they also work with the entrepreneurs of these big mid-sized companies. We all provide services. I provide investment service and a consulting service, and other people provide tax or legal consulting services to these ideal clients. So we will work together and as a team, and we will refer clients to each other. And that becomes a super powerful way to create that kind of referral opportunities and also a lot of word of mouth. So apart from, once you build your solid foundation and you have clear positioning statement, you could start searching for people within your industry that offer complementary services to your ideal clients. And then the next step is build personal relationship with these people. And it could be very simple. You could do a quick LinkedIn research and find connections, these potential connections, and then reach out to them and set up a virtual coffee chat just to get to know each other better. You'll always there be ready to help. Offer help to an understanding what they want to achieve, what their business goals are, and try to create a win-win situation. If you're able to create that kind of win-win situation where people will recognize that, hey, I can refer you clients and you'll be referring me clients, then it becomes a very healthy and long-term referral opportunities. So that not only you have existing clients that are wowed by your service and that would be open to refer your clients, you also have a group of, I call them super connectors, but a group of people that are also in front of your ideal client and that will also be talking about you in front of your ideal clients. And that is another opportunity for you to get more leads through word of mouth. do your research. I always said that it's almost like a web of influence. When we reach out to people and letting them know that you are there to help, and you start knowing, you start, connecting with super connectors, you start to create this web of influence. I've been in business for now 20 years, 20 21 years, and I noticed that there are always opportunities. Business itself, there's always opportunity, because we're always changing. So your clients, there's always time that they might be thinking about switching partners and finding new people. There's always sales opportunity. And when you build, when you find super connectors and start connecting with all the people that are in front of your ideal clients, you start to build this web of influence. So when opportunities come, your web of influence will be able to catch those opportunities. And then they will be able to give you more leads even when you're sleeping. So that is how you're able to start to have more referral opportunities. So that is another strategy. But when it comes to word of mouth, another thing that I want to remind you is ask for them. Ask for referrals. Don't be shy to ask. Whenever you tell people, hey, I am looking for, feel free to refer me clients, or always remind people that you're open for opportunities and you'll be happy to help people. One thing is, I find that a lot of entrepreneurs were too shy to ask for referrals. But when you openly ask for referrals, you're more likely to receive them. And also be very specific in terms of the kind of clients you want. Because your last thing you want is somebody, they're being nice and they refer you clients and turn out that it's not a great fit. And when it's not a great fit, then people might not be as open to refer your clients in the future. So you want to be very specific the kind of clients you're looking for. So whenever you're asking for referrals and word of mouth opportunities, be very specific in terms of the kind of clients you're looking for. Another thing that people often ask me is, if I were to ask for referrals, do I do it over the phone or do I do it through emails? If possible, always do it over the phone. We are trying to create an opportunity that is a win-win situation. So it takes that personal communication to discuss, to discuss the opportunities and who might be the best people that they can refer us to. So always do it. If you want to ask for referrals, always do it over the phone. And that would be basically a strategy that you will be able to use to increase more leads through word of mouth. The most important thing, just remember, build a strong reputation. It's such an important thing to build a strong reputation, and also have a very clear positioning statement so that it's very clear for people to refer your clients. And then ask your existing clients, ask for referrals, ask them, hey, do you know anybody else that I may be able to help you with? And always let them know you're open for business. You're open to new sales, new clients, so that your clients will be happy to refer you more clients. And also start building relationships with your super connectors, the people that offer complimentary services to your clients, ideal clients. And that's it. You are going to start building a web of influence, and you are going to start having leads that will be sending you emails and asking for your service. And then, boom, after a quick virtual coffee chat, they might be ready to see your proposal. I hope this simple episode give you some ideas that you can use for your business to increase the opportunities for word of mouth. Let me know how it goes. What are some strategies you've been using for your sales that have really worked well for you? And don't forget to let me know. And this is the end of this episode, and I look forward to speaking with you in the next episode. Bye.